Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in our BP TV studios. This is Tuesday Night Live. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. And all the rest of you watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and Nemacolin to Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between. We appreciate it. Our likes went back up again. I had to prompt a couple people. We hit 6,400 about a month or so ago. We were down to 6,388. Now we're back up to like 6,398. So thank you very much for all those likes. We appreciate you watching our shows and checking us out on our steady block of time every Tuesday through Saturday night, 7 o'clock to 8. The shows are repeated, so appreciate that. We're going to do a show for you tonight. We start out with What's on Your Mind. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Chip Painter's right next to me. Smoking Jim Frazier's here. He was early, so that's good. And he got the largest bottle of water I've ever seen him drink. Can you show that brand? They're now a sponsor. No.
Don't toss it. The lid's not on tight.
Yeah, be careful. Smoking Jim Frazier, what's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want to grieve,
Real
you
steady.
got to see Levine. Oh, I got it.
I look like Cam Newton dropping that one.
Man,
I gave you the low.
I got
gave you the low drive.
I got a little scared when I see the white quarterback. I ain't seen one of those in years.
You just saw one last night.
But what's on my mind is, first of all, just a couple of things that I hope my buddy Chip Hayner addresses at some point in the show. Is I heard the Pirates are looking to trade McCutchen, and I don't know if it's true, but they say that if McCutchen gets traded, that there will be only one starter from that 2013 playoff team. But also I hope Chip talks about the future of Jong Ho Gunn after his third DUI. Hope we can get to that before the end of the show. But hey, congratulations to assistant head coach Terry Smith of Penn State, heading towards the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
And
They won their conference champion.
Won their conference championship. Could be a preview of the national championship next year. I think UFC is the best team in college football this year.
Wow.
And Penn State is on a 9-game winning streak, so that should be a very good Rose Bowl game. Pittsburgh Sportsline Team of the Week.
Yeah, come on.
Honorable mention goes to Central Catholic in Beaver Falls. Congratulations on big wins.
I thought you just said team.
Yeah.
That was 2 teams.
2 teams.
Okay. Just checking you.
Yeah, they were honorable mention.
I
They
got
weren't
it. I
team
got
of the
to
week.
check you because you said
But the
honorable
team of the
men.
week,
Okay. There's just one?
just one. Steel Valley High School 41-14 victory over Wilmington, I believe. I was at the game. Wasn't sure if I could make it. I've been wanting to see Steel Valley all year long, but
I thought you don't like them.
Well, I don't get a chance to see intramural football that often.
What do you mean by that?
Well, they didn't make it to Heinz Field. They played at Robert Morris on the holiday weekend, Thanksgiving weekend. So
Isn't this the rules? Aren't they going by the rules?
They're going by the rules, but small ball like Clareton and Steel Valley, that Class A, Double A, I don't get to see that unless they come to Heinz Field where the big boys play. But I was very impressed with Steel Valley, and that leads me to the Pittsburgh Sportsline Player of the Week.
I can't wait.
And it goes to a sophomore linebacker for Steel Valley by the name of Todd Hill, number 52. Maybe the best player I've seen all year. Remember that name, sophomore linebacker Todd Hill, number 52, for Steel Valley. And you know what? If I could take just an extra minute.
Take 2, because you're on a roll right now.
I kind of wanted to just talk briefly about what I've learned about the Steelers. I learned that Tua got...
Is this on your mind too?
This is on my mind as well.
Okay.
Tua got pushed around all game, and so I don't know if that was because he's now being focused on because Hayward's out, but that's something that I did not like to see. And 4 or 5 weeks ago, I told everybody that Robert Golden was not an NFL caliber safety. He was hurting the Steelers. And the Steelers since replaced him with Sean Davis, the rookie, and Sean's been playing good football at a high level. And lastly, the last 3 weeks I picked the Steelers to beat Cleveland, Indianapolis, and the Giants. And this week with Rex Ryan and his brother Rob, Tyron Taylor, the quarterback, Shady McCoy, and to it, you're going to have to face Richie Incognito. I look for maybe the Buffalo Bills to maybe beat the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No.
And then send the Steelers into Cincinnati for another loss. So, well, let's see. That's what's on my mind. Richie Incognito.
Outstanding, Smoking Jim. Where do you pull these players out? Chip Hayner, what's on your mind?
No, thank you, Alan and Jim. What's on my mind is the kind of thing that kind of gives me hope for the Steelers this weekend. Is he's got a Rob Ryan coached defense playing against the Steelers offense. Now, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers may be the only team he hasn't gotten fired from for being defensive coordinator. So they'll play the game on Sunday, and we'll see how it comes out. But, you know, what's on my mind is, you know, I somewhat pay attention to social media. I'm on Facebook. I don't even bother with Twitter because I think it's kind of pointless. You know, social media and our local sports talk radio shows have done everything they can to create a aura of negativity that seems to surround the Pittsburgh Pirates. Okay, now you got the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they've won 6 championships since 1974. And you've got the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they've won 4 championships since 1992. And then, you know, you've got your Pittsburgh Pirates, who went through 20 years of losing since their last division championship. So an entire generation of Pittsburghers have no idea what it was like to be a fan of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
That's true.
And subsequently, they don't really understand the economics of baseball or the cycles that go on in baseball. So,
Are you talking about our friend next to you?
No, not even making a mention about my friend Jim, because Jim, there is hope for you, and I believe I'm going to be there to see you through to the end. But you know, it's the off season. Okay, the Pirates had a considerably disappointing season this year. Everybody expected playoffs. They were looking for us to make a deep run.
Bingo.
The Pirates didn't really make a lot of moves last year, not the moves that would have gotten them closer to winning a championship. They made some moves. They didn't pan out, okay? So they didn't pan out. Subsequently, we had a losing season. But, you know, we get into the off season now, and everybody's starting now that we're getting close to the winter meetings, which are happening right now in Baltimore. And everybody, and they want to stir up the animosity towards the Pirates. So, you know, the Pirates, if they do nothing, they get criticized because they're not doing enough. The owner doesn't want to spend any money. He's not interested in winning. He's just taking the money and banking it, and he's letting the franchise go to hell in a handbasket, so to speak. And
Smoking Jim agrees.
to be very honest with you, nothing could be further from the truth. And actually, if the Pittsburghers were wise, they'd be grateful that Bob Nutting bought the team when he did, because had he not taken the reconstruction project of the entire franchise from the instructional league all the way up to the major leagues and produced a major league caliber organization that's run the right way, that's run within its budget, you know, I don't understand why everybody's so upset with Bob Nutting. The guy has done nothing but good for the Pirates. You know, the Pirates are an organization that can't afford to make mistakes like they did last winter, okay? And subsequently, we saw what happened to that because of it. So now we get into the winter meetings, and it's quite obvious to everybody that the Pirates need starting pitching. And the pitchers that we have in the minors, yes, they're going to be a nice addition to what we've got to do this year, but they aren't the answer to the problem. We need a major league ready starting caliber pitcher, preferably a number 1 or a number 2. And how can we go about doing that? There's really nobody available in free agency, and the Pirates generally aren't a big player in free agency. So the next best thing you can do is you can start shopping the major league talent that you have to see what is available to you in a return on a trade. And I said this before, I said this at the end of the season, that I didn't think there was going to be anybody that were going to be hands off. So yes, they're dangling Andrew McCutchen as trade bait to see what they will get in return. And the thing is, the Pirates don't have to trade Andrew McCutchen. Actually, I think the Pirates would be a better team if they kept him. I honestly believe that Andrew McCutchen is going to have a monster year this year, MVP caliber year as a comeback this year. But, and if we can't get the return that we feel is adequate, Andrew McCutchen's not going to be traded. And then when he doesn't get traded, people are going to complain because he's not getting traded. Of course, now people are complaining, how can you consider trading him? He's the face of the franchise. Oh, my goodness. I'm never going to go to another Pirate game. They're not going to pay their ball players, blah, 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 blah. And I get so sick of listening to this because people are upset about something that has not happened. Okay, they're having discussions. No trade has happened. Andrew McCutchen's gone nowhere. So if we keep Andrew McCutchen, people are going to complain and say we didn't do enough to get starting pitchers. And if we do trade him, we're disrespecting the face of the franchise. Well, this is Major League Baseball, and in professional sports, there is no loyalty among players to teams, and there's no loyalty from teams to players. It's a business, bottom line, and that's what people have to accept. Here's the way the Pirates' business plan is going to work. We're going to get young players. We're going to develop them. By the time they get to the point where they can get the big bucks that some other team has the ability to pay to keep them, they're going to do that. And we're going to keep developing young talent, and we're going to be competitive. That's the way a market this size has to operate. We do not have the multi-billion-dollar television contracts that a lot of our competitors have. So if you can't compete with the big boys throwing money around, you compete with them on the field. That's what's important to me. So I am fully behind the Pirates 100%. If Andrew McCutchen's in a Pirates uniform April 1st, I'm going to root for him. Whatever team they field come April 1st, I'm going to root for them. Because I've been rooting for the Pirates long before anybody ever heard of Andrew McCutchen. Players have come and gone, and I'm still rooting for the Pirates. Roberto Clemente died, and I'm still rooting for the Pirates. So, the true fans, root for the Pirates. The people that want a bellyache, please go somewhere else. That's what's on my mind.
Thanks, Chip. Appreciate it. What's on my mind is a couple things that are newsworthy. The Nats are not acquiring McCutchen. They nixed the deal from what I had heard, so that's one thing that
I'll give you an update on that after you're done, okay?
Sure. And then another thing caught my eye. Ben Roethlisberger said, keep Kutch.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
Wow.
Yeah, he come out in public and said it.
And Andrew and Ben are friends. They do. He just said he just spoke to him by phone a couple of days ago, and I admired Ben for not sharing a personal conversation with his friend with reporters. That's class.
Didn't know they were friends.
They are now.
Well, ever since he got his haircut.
Ever since he had his third child, they've been friends. So these things happen. Then the other thing, since these guys are always bringing up 2 things, 3 things, the other thing on my mind is I'm on Facebook as I'm posting stuff and, liking different things. And I see a video with James Harrison pumping iron. And then I see one of his best buddies, the player's coach, who's the head coach, Tomlin, spotting him. So I watch it once, gives him the, bar. Fine, I watch it again. I'm like, who even wants the video to show this going on? And it wasn't even the heavy weights that James Harrison usually does. I don't know, maybe it was 250, 300. But he was spotting them.
Warm-up set.
He spotted him with the weights. So those were my highlights of the day. Keep Kutch, That's no deal at this point. You'll give me an update. What's the update?
The update was the Nationals decided to back off of McCutchen because they didn't want to give up their top 2 prospects for Andrew McCutchen. They felt that was asking too much. They're willing to offer those top 2 prospects to the Chicago White Sox for Chris Sale, left-handed starting pitcher, 17 wins this past season, over 200
nice
strikeouts. Yeah. He is a head case. He's a problem in the locker room. Well, so what the White Sox did was they let it be known that this is what the Nats were offering, and the Red Sox came in and stole them right out from underneath the Nationals.
Right, they made a nice offer.
So now that Chris Sale's off the table, the Nationals may still be interested in McCutchen, but their top 2 prospects. One's a pitcher, one's an outfielder. Both of them are like 21 years old. I don't know. I don't know if And the fact of the matter is, the Pirates don't need to trade Andrew McCutchen. We've got him for 2 more years at a team-friendly price.
Sure.
And if they can't get the return they want on him, you keep him. And how are you going to go wrong with plugging in McCutchen in the 3rd spot in the order?
Well, here's the thing that bugs me. He's 30 years old. That's when a lot are coming into their prime.
Well, what
so
I would do,
this could be a comeback year like we're talking about.
What I would do if it was up to me, and this is just once again my humble opinion, is he's got 2 years left on his contract. I'd rip up the last year of the contract, renegotiate it for him, give him a 3-year extension at about $60 million. That's at $20 million a year over the next 3 years. So he makes the $14.5 he's going to make this year. Then he gets paid the upper echelon. That way, you're not committing to 10 years worth of money or 5 or 6, and you still got him through the prime of his career, through his early 30s.
Sure.
And then at that point, when he's 34 years old, he wants to move on to another team. Let him go.
Yeah, I'm sure Kutch would agree to something like that for a team that's been going behind his back trying to trade him.
There's nothing behind anybody's back. They have come right out. They were right up front with him, and I guarantee you they were.
Smoking Jim, where are the facts on that?
That's that knife in the back sure hurts. This is a guy that's taking less money to stay with the Pirates. Mm-hmm. He's 30 years old. Most of the Pirates' contracts for their players, for the line nutting, he has contracts for all of his players that ends when they're 31 years old, and he gets rid of these guys right in their prime because he doesn't want to pay them. My opinion. But the facts are, if you look at the contracts of all the Pirates, they come either in an option year or the end of the contract right when they're 31 years old. Check it out.
And also, if you take a look at when the player statistics, as they hit 30 years old and watch their performance as they move forward, what are you paying for? Are you paying for what they did when they were in their 20s, or are you going to pay for what they're going to do in their 30s?
Al Levine, the talking machine, said 30 is the prime. It's the 30's the prime.
For some they get
for some, but we
some are a little later. Well, that was what's on our mind with some combinations. I want to thank Olive Oil's Pizzeria for sponsoring tonight's show. I appreciate that. 412-831-1900. Give Sarah a call there. She made our pizza tonight. It was delicious. So I appreciate it. And we always talk about Joey Favis, the Joey Favis Childhood Cancer Foundation. Here's photos of Joey. And you can go online, donate something, check out their events that they have going on. Thanks to all the Bethel Park and the kids in the area that are doing different fundraisers for them at all times. So it's great stuff there for the Joey Favis Childhood Cancer Foundation. And we'll end the show with Stay Joey Strong. Next, we got Bethel Park Community Foundation, BPCF. You can go .org, get the application, apply to get money for your group from $100 to $5,000. At our last meeting, we had people coming in talking about some of the organizations that they have from the fire department that they needed some equipment. We agreed to fund them, so there's lots of good things out there. Go to bpcf.org, and thank you very much. We're going to do our segments now. Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And can you believe it's been 21 years since 1995 when I watched maybe the greatest high school football team of all time,
I cannot believe it.
and they ended an era with how they played. And that goes back to a team that I watched every single game, even went to the state championship game at Altoona High School field.
Wow.
One of the coldest games that anybody's ever seen. I seen grown white men with blankets.
There you go, bringing the color to the
Tough.
show.
Because it was
Unbelievable.
almost all white at the game. But they had blankets.
Were there any black folks there?
Not too many. Not at this game as cold as it was.
Really?
The brothers stayed home.
How did
But-
you get in?
I was a fan. They had blankets covering people, in the stands. Hot chocolate.
Very
it was cold.
graphic
It
you're
was,
describing.
It was
this.
freezing, and
Then what happened?
but of course this undefeated team won. I think they're maybe one of the greatest teams I ever seen, and I don't think we'll
Where are they
ever
from?
see another team like that. And that was the 1995 Penn Hills High School football team. They won a state championship. They won the WPIL championship against Upper St. Clair at Three River Stadium.
Wow.
That team averaged over 300 pounds on the offensive line. In that particular year, their offensive line was bigger than the Pitt Panthers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Seniors Damon Gibson and Mike White were Pitt recruits. They anchored the line. They alternated their tailbacks, Al Levine, the talking machine, Victor Strader and Dwayne Thompson. Both of them rushed for over 1,500 yards.
Wow.
And they only played 50% of the snaps. The MVP of the team was actually a junior, a Penn State recruit by the name of Ron Graham that played linebacker, tight end, and was an all-state wrestler. So kudos to that night. They never threw the football. Matter of fact, Jalen Shafino.
Wasn't born yet.
Nope, wasn't born yet. But I was
Thanks,
thinking
Smoking Jim.
they had a black quarterback, but it wasn't Shafino's dad. He came along a little later when they were losing. But hey, the 1995 Penn Hills team is
What was
one
the
of best.
temperature again?
The temperature was cold, windy. I was down on the field with the.
How cold was it?
You know what?
It was so cold.
I don't know.
It was so cold, my hot chocolate froze. I went to a Pitt, West Virginia game,
Okay.
about 4 or 5 years ago. My son and I, he loves West Virginia, so we had to go see the game after Thanksgiving or whatever it was.
Backyard brawl.
Yeah, we'd watch the brawl. So it was so cold there. People
How
were
cold
bundled
was
up. Oh, things were freezing. Nobody was drinking any soda pop. They were drinking hot chocolate, hot drinks.
The many brothers
So-
there, we don't like the cold.
There were tons. They were out there with
In the
with the
bathroom.
gun.
Say
The
a
mountaineer was shooting the gun off. That was froze. So I get a hot chocolate for Drew. Get one before halftime, and we go into halftime. Set it down on a seat for like about 5 minutes or so. We're watching the activities, and it was frozen.
Wow.
Nothing like your
Hot
green
chocolate.
tea, huh?
No.
Wow.
Which is unfreezable
Wow.
under most circumstances.
Wow.
But our hot chocolate froze that day
Ain't that something?
before halftime.
Wow.
And it got colder after that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Ain't that something?
There you go. Little cold story for you from the recent
I
past.
love it. I love it.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. Chip Painter, let's hear this trivia time that you have for tonight.
Trivia time, yes, sir. Trivia time this evening. Well, first off, I would like to mention the passing of a previous Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah.
Rashawn Salam. He was 42 years old. 1992 Heisman Trophy winner, University of Colorado. Rushed for, I believe, 2,055 yards in his, I believe it was his sophomore, his junior year. He was 20 years old when he won the award. Sad to see him passed. He was a young man. Went into the pros. They have no idea what was the cause of death, but sad that he was taken from us too soon. And that brings me up to
Cordell was his quarterback.
who was?
Cordell Stewart was his quarterback.
There you
in
go.
Colorado.
There you go. The Heisman Trophy will be awarded this Saturday evening. And this year, it looks like the odds are favorite is going to be the quarterback out of Louisville. He's a sophomore, Lamar Jackson. And really, you know, he really hasn't done anything of note recently. I think he's probably going to win the award based on the strength of his September play, believe it or not, when he was lighting up the offenses. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Heisman Trophy Award and talk to you about some of the previous winners. But the Heisman Trophy, one of the highest individual awards in American college football, has been awarded 81 times since its creation in 1935, including 79 unique winners and one two-time winner. The trophy is given annually to the most outstanding college football player in the NCAA Division I Football Bowl Subdivision, FBS, and is awarded by the Heisman Trust. Successors of the awards from the Downtown Athletic Club in New York City. Now, the award was first awarded in 1935. The award was known then as the DAC Trophy.
Oh, yeah.
It was called the Downtown Athletic Club Trophy. It was created by New York City's Downtown Athletic Club to recognize the best college football player east of the Mississippi River. In that inaugural year, the award went to Jay Berwanger from the University of Chicago. Berwanger was later drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles of the National Football League, but declined to sign for them. He never played professional football for any team, instead choosing to pursue a career in business. In 1936, the club's athletic director, football pioneer John Heisman, died and the trophy was renamed in his honor. Larry Kelly, the second winner of the award, was the first to win it as the Heisman Trophy.
I didn't know that.
In addition to the name change, the award also became a nationwide achievement. With the new name, players west of the Mississippi became eligible, though the first player from the western United States was not selected until 1938. Only one player, probably the greatest college football player of all time, Ohio State's Archie Griffin, has won the award twice. He won it as a junior and a senior. And on June 10th, 2010, the following several years of investigation, the NCAA announced that USC running back Reggie Bush, the 2005 Heisman Trophy winner, received gifts from agents while still in college, which was an NCAA violation. The university received major sanctions, and there was reports that the Heisman Trophy Trust would strip its award. In September of that year, Reggie Bush voluntarily forfeited his title as the 2005 winner. The Heisman Trust decided to leave the award vacated with no new winner to be announced.
Wow.
So, you know, it's been awarded 81 times, and there's really technically only 80 winners.
Right. One give back.
One give back. In terms of balloting, the 50 states of the U.S. are split into 6 regions: Far West, Mid-Atlantic, Midwest, Northeast, South, Southwest. And 6 regional representatives are selected to appoint voters in their states. Each region has 145 media votes for a total of 870 votes. In addition, all previous Heisman winners may vote, and one final vote is counted through public balloting. The Heisman ballots contain a 3-2-1 point system in which each ballot ranks the voters' top 3 players and awards them 3 points for first, 2 for second, 1 point for third.
Sounds simple.
The points are tabulated, and the player with the highest total of points across all ballots wins the Heisman Trophy. So, you know, looking through the list of Heisman Trophy winners over the course of the award, the very first non-senior to win the award would have happened for the Army football juggernaut.
Wow.
The first winner was, as a junior, Doc Blanchard, won in 1945, and he was followed by his backfield mate the next year, Glenn Davis.
Wow.
So, you know, you had Army won the Heisman Trophy in back-to-back years. The next time a junior was selected, 1948, this is a name I'm sure Jim will remember, Doak Walker. Mm-hmm. And following that, 1950, Vic Janowitz from Ohio State. And in looking through all of the great players that played college ball and ones that won the award, there are several of note. But you think about all the major universities and how many Heisman Trophies winners came from each.
Sure.
Do you realize that the Naval Academy had a winner in 1963? Roger the Dodger Staubach was
That
a
makes
Heisman
sense.
Trophy winner. 1974, 1975, Archie Griffin won. We can't ever forget about a little running back out of Hopewell Township named Tony Dorsett, or was that Dorsett?
That was Dorsett. Just like Theismann and Heisman.
Probably one of the most electrifying runners of all time. Billy Sims won in 1978 for Oklahoma. Just going through some of these, probably one of the greatest running backs in the NFL, and had he stayed in the game, probably would be the leading rusher of all time, Barry Sanders, out of Oklahoma State. And then we get to the point where, the very first defensive player was taken in 1997. And that's somebody that Jim A. Pears feels was very deserving of that award that year. That would have been Charles Woodson of Michigan.
Peyton Manning should have won it.
Well, you know what? Peyton Manning should have won a national championship too, but T. Martin took care of that for him.
Very true.
So that gets me to the very first player who, other than a junior or a senior, to win the award. And that's Jim Frazier's favorite white quarterback,
Let's
Tim
hear it.
Tebow. Tim Tebow. He won as a sophomore in 2007, 2008. Sam Bradford won as a sophomore, 2009. Mark Ingram Jr. won for the University of Alabama. Now, do you realize it's 2009, and Mark Ingram was the first Alabama alumni to win the Heisman Trophy?
Never knew that.
Wow.
They've only won 2 in their history.
That's amazing.
One of them was last year.
Oh, can we get Smoking Jim to say Tebow one time because it's famous?
Tebow should have won 3.
Yeah, you know what? There's a reason why they play the games, Jim. There's a reason why. So then, then we get to 2012, and the first year a freshman wins the award, and that was the train wreck, otherwise known as Johnny Football. Johnny Manziel won as a freshman. Jameis Winston avoided jail and won the award in 2013.
Yeah.
As a freshman. So now, just to kind of sum up everything that I found out, and I found this all to be quite interesting. There have been 39 colleges in the NCAA FBS that have won Heisman trophies. Mm-hmm. There is 81 trophies awarded, and only 39 schools won them.
Wow.
The 2 schools with the most Heisman trophies,
USC,
Notre Dame and Ohio State. USC, because Reggie Bush had to vacate the title, they have only 6. Oklahoma is next with number 5, followed by West Point with 3. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams with 3. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams with 2.
ain't Grambling on there?
Nope, Grambling is not on there. Yeah, Grambling is not on there. But, the interesting thing I found with all the great players that played at the University of Alabama, their very first Heisman Trophy winner was in 2009, and their second one was last year. And if I were to ask who won a Heisman Trophy last year?
Big running back from Alabama.
And his name was?
I forget. He ain't doing nothing in the NFL.
Yes. Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, that's it.
Derrick Henry. So, as a general rule, Heisman Trophy winners, as a general rule, don't fare very well in the pros. There have been, a fair number of Heisman Trophy winners, such as O.J. Simpson and Marcus Allen, who have performed superior.
Good, yeah.
But
Barry Sanders.
The award seems to have
Dorsett.
lost some of its luster, and with the candidates that are being selected this year, one of the stories that I thought would have been a great story for the Heisman Trophy to get attention would have been James Conner's story, but nobody felt that he was worthy of overcoming
Cancer.
cancer. I guess
He won the Brian Piccolo Award.
He won the Brian Piccolo Award, but
For the most courageous.
But we'll see what happens with him. But a new winner will be selected Saturday night. And just to kind of sum up my last thing, because this is on college football, the college football playoffs, you've got Alabama and the Sacrificial Lamb University of Washington playing in the first game. You've got Clemson and Ohio State playing in the second game. Shucks. Michigan, you got to cry into your milk. Into your milk. You're not going to make it. Penn State, this is not your year. I honestly think that the best thing for this Penn State team was for them to go to the Rose Bowl. They go to the Rose Bowl. They got a team that they have pretty much have a chance of beating. But, anybody playing against Alabama this year, whoever plays them in the first round of the playoff, they're the sacrificial lamb. They're just going to get steamrolled. So,
well, I like Washington's chances, but this is my second year getting a Heisman vote. And I've never voted for a second or third place. I don't believe in that. I'd send in one vote.
Well, who did you vote for last year?
I voted for the white quarterback from Baylor, Seth. I voted for him before the season started, but he got hurt. He'd have won it.
That's why I wanted to bring that up.
But this year,
That's why I wanted to bring
this
it
year I
up.
waited for till one of the last days to send it in, and I sent it in Deshaun Watson from Clemson. I had him over, the kid from Louisville.
Nice.
So
you like Watson.
But Chip makes a good point that James Conner probably should have received a few more votes. But Deshaun Watson has only lost one regular season game in 2 years, and I think he's deserving of winning the Heisman. So I wouldn't be so quick to give it to. I think if they do their job, I think.
Well, the votes are in, so they did it already.
If they study everything, I think that Deshaun Watson should win.
Deshaun Watson is a deserving candidate. I do believe that.
Who would you give it to?
I would have to flip a coin with Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson. And really, and because they're voting for the award tonight.
What kind of coin would you flip? An Obama coin for those two?
2 heads.
Whoa, where are you getting that at?
2 heads, they're not called tails.
What's an Obama coin? I can't believe how you are. What's an Obama coin?
Here's why
What
I
is
feel the things that hurt Deshaun Watson's chances. And if you saw the way, Clemson last year, and they were on a roll. They manhandled everybody. Deshaun Watson had an incredible year. Well, this year I think Clemson is relying more on its reputation than it is on the way that its team is playing. Now they got beat by Pitt, there was other teams that they played against that they did not really. The teams that they should have won handily. They didn't. They won, but not as they should have or as was expected.
So what you're saying is he should have won it last year, and I agree with that.
I don't see any.
You didn't vote for him last year.
But
my vote was
Let me
early.
take you a little off subject. The Heisman Trophy, I don't know if you know this or not, but how did they come up with Heisman doing that pose?
If you know,
I thought I had heard it, but
if you know, share it because I don't know the answer to the question.
yeah, because I had heard it
I could dig
before.
into that, and you know what I will do? I will find out and answer that for you.
Because I had heard that before, but I forget now.
Well, you know what? I'll find out the answer.
That was a white guy move back then in 1936.
35.
Well, when they made it official, the change.
I will only vote for east of the Mississippi.
That's the way
that's how it started.
That's the way the award was originally designed. Well,
You're a traditionalist.
Because they didn't think they knew how to play football
Mason
out west.
Dixon
They didn't know
there weren't a lot playing out there.
West.
When did they start football? In like the 1870s or something?
Well, they had to move from the east to the west to teach them.
But how many Heisman's Notre Dame got? You said they're number one?
7.
Notre Dame had 7 as well as Ohio State.
I remember they should have
Ohio
had.
State has one player that won 2.
Oh, Archie Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
They should have had 8. Notre Dame, because I remember when Joe Theismann said
Which
that
is it?
the only reason that Jim Plunkett beat him out was because both his parents were blind. So that was a classy move, but that was all.
Oh, he was a young kid then.
He was always honest.
He was a young kid and outspoken like he's always been.
Hasn't changed a bit.
And it's a shame how his leg got busted up like that too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And I think he's worthy of Hall of Fame consideration. If I was voting on the Hall of Fame, I think I'd give a vote for Joe Theismann, especially all the games he threw in the
wow,
CFL.
we're getting some extra bonus
he
stuff
used to
from
make-
Smoking
He
Jim.
used to make a little extra money in the CFL by throwing games.
Did he?
Shaving points,
Yeah. We'll put him in the same hall of shame that Pete Rose is in.
Well, he never got caught.
Then how do you know about it? All right, enough of that. We got we got our own location. Last night had a great show, Hollywood Lanes, thanks to Jeffrey Park and Lindsay Marie, the owner and manager. So just great to be there. We'll be back again on next year, January 2nd, Smoking Jim. Wow. That'll be our first show there,
Happy
first
New
of the
Year.
year. What's that?
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Well, we still
Couple
got
weeks
to.
away. Still got plenty of this year left to enjoy, Jim.
Yeah, this is still only the 6th of December. So there's a few more days, but that'll happen. Yeah, great show, great guests. We interviewed a lady that we love, Gloria Stokowski, does a lot of Golden Glove stuff. She's a ladies referee, not only locally, but nationally, we found out. They're collecting, trying to get 5,000 toys for kids. They got over 1,000 already, and they got a great thing going at Monroeville
A
Mall.
lot of people give. There's givers in Monroeville.
Okay. Did you go there and give yet, Smoking Jim?
Well,
You're
I
the
do
only
my-
one.
I do my own toys. For
No, Jim
tots.
waits for that. He stands out there and looks homeless.
And they give him.
People give him a sandwich or something.
Well, she was good with that, and Jimmy Savetic, Mad Dog, he's mellowing a little bit with old age. He didn't want to be on and talk, but he ended up coming on and talking.
45 minutes.
He designed a shirt. He designed an elf shirt that he has, and he has an elf that's a character, and he's doing great things. His undefeated boxer, 6-0, Amante Eberhart, was on the show. He's working hard, looks in great shape. He's already got 2 fights lined up with WFC Matt McGovern, who will be doing shows again at the Meadows, which is nice. We're friends with him, so we got some good things there. Then the favorite interview I had, his first interview, the quarterback of Keystone Oaks was on our show, Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it was his first interview, as his aunt told me, and he did well. We had a nice interview and got some interesting facts. He'll be going to Duquesne for 4 years. I said, I'm sure we thought it'd be nice at a bigger school, but it didn't work out that way. You know, they weren't looking at Keystone Oaks, and he had a standout year. First quarterback in Whippeal to pass for 3,000 yards and run for 1,000. So,
In a
That's
season?
amazing.
yes.
That's amazing.
What a
That's-
performance.
That's
He's 6'4.5", baby-faced kid, got a beard, you know, but
To tell you
nice
what,
kid.
that degree from Duquesne will do him a lot better than.
Wants to go to law school too. That's a good school.
Yeah,
to go to
yeah,
law school.
that-
Forensic science is his specialty. So
Whatever that is.
good luck to him.
They-
He
they've
tried
got
to teach Smoking
great
Jim about it.
university. Great university.
Yeah, so he'll be fine there.
I drive past it a lot.
It's up there on the hill, upper hill.
Some
You
of
have to
my
stop.
cousins are alum.
So we'll be at Atria's PNC Park next week, 7 o'clock to 8. Check us out there at Atria's PNC Park. And that's what I have for On Location. And we'll be at the Fairway Grill up here at Cool Springs, 1530 Hamilton Road. Chip told Smoking Jim where it's at because he passes by it all the time. Smoking Jim didn't get that, but we're working on Smoking
Devin Shea
Jim
gave me
finding
some
it.
addresses too. So gave me some directions.
Oh,
so
good,
I'm
good.
I'm in the ballpark.
Well, you'll find it, I'm sure, Smoking Jim. But that'll be on the 19th. We'll be there 7:30 to 8:30. We already got 4 local guests out of the facilities there, from a golf pro to a guy that has baseball clinics, and one guy works at AGH there. They have a sports health complex there. So we've got a lot of good guests coming up there. So check us out then on the 19th. But the 12th, Atria's PNC Park. Wait till you hear another opening by Smoking Jim Frazier of what's on your mind, especially if he's right about Buffalo. We'll have to see. I disagree. I say we beat Buffalo. All right. Let's go to Kung. Chip.
There got his young hope.
Yeah.
You know, here's something
'Cause it's
that
the third DUI.
The Pirates did not do their due diligence, and it seems that Mr. Gong does have a problem with alcohol, and I think it would be in the Pirates' best interest to make it mandatory for him to undergo rehab, you know, and get him the help that he needs. That's what I think the Pirates should do, and if that means that they need to, you know, I don't know if you can suspend him for something like this. I don't know about the collective
sure.
bargaining agreement, but I do believe that, you know, as the being that this is his third
DUI.
offense and that I have him under contract for multi-million dollars, I think I would have something to say as to whether or not
They have
he
to
went
be
to rehab.
absolutely outraged by
Yes,
this.
yeah,
There's no
they,
doubt.
They absolutely have to, and then that makes you question, what happened in Chicago last summer? You know, because, you know, you wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. Somebody's targeting him. He's a professional athlete.
I knew he
but,
was guilty
you know,
from day one.
But it
Thanks,
just
Smoking Jim.
it doesn't look good, and you know, the Pirates might want to look to you know, find out what they can get from Mr. Gong.
Do you think the Pirates really didn't know, or is this just another lie coming out of the Pirate organization? And
Whoa.
it may be a moot point because in Korea, 3 DUIs is automatic 5 years in prison. Now, he's a celebrity, so they may...
Where'd you get that information?
I've been doing my homework. and
You're not making it up like the Pirates are making it up.
3 DUIs in Korea, automatic 5 years
Well, here's what
in
they,
jail, but hopefully he won't have to
I
do
did not
that.
read that. What I did read was that it was an automatic
I'm a journalist.
suspension
I'm a
of
reporter.
his driver's license,
How many
and he can
sources?
apply to have his driver's license reinstated after 2 years. I don't believe that any jail time is warranted, but I'm not Korean, and I'm not
Take
in
it from
Korea.
a reporter.
You know what,
I need 17 sources to back that up.
Jim?
Reporter.
I just want to tell you something, my friend. I love you like a brother, but sometimes I take what you say to me the same way I take things that I read on Facebook or other forms of social media.
Hold it. He believes it's all true on Facebook.
You know, I take it for what it's worth. But I do believe that, you know, the Pirates need to do something to, you know, the fact of the matter is the guy's a decent ball player. I don't believe that he's, you know, a 20 or a $30 million ball player. But the guy could be a contributor on a winning baseball team.
Yeah, he got power.
And, you know, they have to get him the help that he needs. So,
Did you see the video?
yes, I did. Yeah, he was,
That front of that car must have been a Mack truck where it ran that pole over.
well, you know, it's
the angle.
once again, it's the kind of things that coaches stress to their players: don't be the guy that's on the police docket. Well, he's the guy.
Well, that's
on
the
the police
worst
docket.
sport you can be in if you're a drinker. Is baseball, because that's a sport. It's almost like smoking in the
Babe Ruth, my
military.
man, was a good drinker.
Yeah, it's almost like smoking in the military. In baseball, everybody drinks.
No.
Hate to say it.
Well, it's 162
No,
games.
to be honest with you, you know, he's playing for a coach who has been a recovering alcoholic for 16 years. Clint Hurdle's
Yeah.
well documented with his sobriety. And, you know, so just because you have a problem with alcohol doesn't mean that it can't be overcome. It takes constant diligence. You need a good support system in place. So, you know, the path to sobriety is there for him. It's up to him to take it.
We shall see.
And
Stay
he
tuned.
can afford a driver.
No.
Uber.
All of those athletes can, and how any athlete would get behind the wheel of a vehicle, even slightly impaired, just well, you know.
He didn't go out knowing he was going to drink. He drive some of those foreign cars, and BMWs and the Mercedes, and you don't know you're going to drink like that. You don't want
I
anybody
don't know,
driving
but
your car.
I drive a used Ford.
Smoking Jim, I can't believe
And you want to know
this story.
something? I don't drink right before I get behind the wheel. And guess what? I don't get pulled over. It's funny how these things work, you know, because I'm making good decisions
It's shocking.
because I'm not impaired. The next thing I want to touch on is, we didn't get on this last week at all, but the state of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Penguins have just finished a 3-game homestand. They were 3-0. But it seems to be that their goaltender rotation does not seem to be working out as planned. And these are the words from Jim Rutherford.
Right.
Marc-Andre Fleury's play has slipped. His goals against average is almost 4. Matt Murray is significantly better. His goals against average is a 1.7 or 1.8. And Marc-Andre Fleury's save percentage dropped below 900 last night for the first time. It's an 899 for the season. That is so unlike Marc-Andre that, what are the Penguins going to do with the goalie situation? Because here's another case of we've got somebody on our team. We've got 2 number 1 goaltenders. Each of them have won a Stanley Cup. What are we going to do? Because it doesn't appear that both of them can play. And if you trade him, what do the Penguins need?
Yeah.
They've got a lot of young defensemen. They've got a lot of young forwards. They've got Crosby. They've got Malkin. They've got Kunitz et al. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. They don't have to get rid of Marc-Andre just yet, but I wouldn't be too surprised if come the trade deadline,
It could
end
happen.
of January, February, that Marc-Andre could be on his way because, to be honest with you, a $5.5 million a year backup goaltender isn't going to work out for them. They've got salary cap
It's just a
issues.
luxury they do have if it gets back to form a little bit.
And, hey, tomorrow, the next game they play, Murray gets hurt. We're going to be glad we've got Fleury. So, they've got a little bit of a dilemma, but I guess it's a nice problem to have.
I'm glad already.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Fleury man.
All right.
This is one of the things that I have always felt. Now, when I was a child, I idolized, a certain athlete. And I mean, the sun rose and set on him, and unfortunately he died, and it was a very stern lesson in me. And I stopped rooting for players. I root for my teams. I root for the Penguins. I root for the Pirates. I root for the Steelers. The players come and go. The uniforms never change. So I don't really particularly. Marc-Andre Fleury, hey, I was a big Marc-Andre Fleury fan as long as he's played here, but I know that he's not going to play here forever, and at some point it's going to make sense for him to move on.
See, that's a good point, Chip. And I tell everybody, and they think I'm a flip-flopper, but I'm not a fan. I'm a fan of college football. As an NFL scout, I scout college football. So the players that I like in college football are the ones that I cheer for when they get to the NFL. And people have a hard time really understanding, grasping that concept. But, if I like you in college, and you go to a team that is a rival with the Steelers, like Burfict, I'm a cheer for you. I was a Burfict fan at Arizona State.
And I know you're a big fan of his, and you got those
Love
two
him.
loudmouths,
Love
Perfect and Pac-Man Jones. They're really helping the Bengals win a lot of games this year, aren't
Well, this past game, you're only as good as your last game, and Burfict was all over the field. He had an interception. I watched that game. He knocked a few players out, and I think he'll knock a few more out in 2 weeks against the Steelers. This guy's a young James Harrison, and you guys all love James.
Well, we shall see. We got 2
Maybe
weeks.
Coach Tomlin
let
will
me tell you
spot
something.
him.
The NFL
I liked it.
The NFL didn't like the Steelers in the Bengals game because he moved them from Sunday night to Sunday afternoon.
For Tampa Bay. Ooh,
Yeah.
that was a slap in the face.
I know.
But I think that was who moves the Steeler game? I don't care who. The Steelers are almost
Prime
America's team.
They would have been.
They would have
Except
been.
Rooney said no.
Except for the Chiefs.
I just heard it on a video.
Yeah, what wants that?
No, it's another one.
Oh, yeah?
Just Dan Rooney said that when they won, they were saying that's America's team, and he goes, we're Pittsburgh's team. Dan Rooney, it's Art Rooney who said that
Oh, right.
to Rozelle.
Right.
He told him that. It's
Yeah.
Pittsburgh and the grittiness and
we
all
were the
that.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
And that's
And
why
I can
we're...
see and when he said that, when I seen the video, I thought about you because you're always we're Pittsburgh Sports Line. You know what I mean? Not the line,
Right.
not the
Right.
Not
Not whatever
Pittsburgh
else.
Sports Line.
Right.
So-
We're about sports in Pittsburgh.
So now let's get to the final one here. The Steelers are on a 3-game winning streak. They are going to Buffalo this weekend, And just as any other game on their schedule, this is a game that the Steelers very easily could lose. They could just as easily win the game as well. It depends on what kind of commitment. Now, one thing I do have to say, and we have criticized Mike Tomlin, Kevin Colbert, quite.
Coach Butler.
And Coach Butler, we have criticized them quite heartily, okay? But if you look at the first 3 draft picks of their draft this year, there are 3 players that are contributing to this defense right now that as rookies. You've got Hargrave, who's under concussion protocol, has been playing very well on the defensive line. You've got Artie Burns out there on the corner, and you've got Sean Davis as the safety. Now, here are these guys 3-4 weeks ago. We were questioning what business they had playing on the field. But this is what happens when you start rookies. It takes them some time to learn where they're supposed to be.
They improve,
and they are playing. Hey, I'm telling you what, I'm really looking forward to see what Artie Burns can do the next 2 or 3.
Who was questioning those guys being on the field?
Well, just the whole defense, and with
the
with 3
secondary
rookies.
has been in a quandary.
Now, I did notice that I didn't see a lot of Jarvis Jones on Sunday, but that was interesting because I saw linebackers making plays. Maybe that was because Jarvis wasn't on the field.
I love my Chickalo.
Chickalo, well,
Yeah.
Timmons was playing like something got into him, man. Somebody fed him his Wheaties that day. And Bud Dupree is playing his way really kind of back into shape, and he looks like he's right there. You know, I mean, he's right about at where everything's going.
What do you think of Ladarius Green?
Ladarius Green, I think here's an example of another guy that's playing his way back into game shape. And if
you just don't know when he's going to drop the ball, because he drops those passes, then all of a sudden he's on fire.
What
here's
a big
the thing.
target he is. Huh?
What a big target, and I tell you what, a game like he had
separation.
this past weekend is the kind of thing that is the kind of boost for his confidence. That I do belong here. But I think he was a nice acquisition. It would have been nice if he had started the season with us. But hey, what better time to have him during the stretch run? Because here's what with the Steelers, it looks like the Steelers team is coming together, and they're coming together at the right time of the year. Because what you want to be on a roll is going into December into January. You want to be on a roll, and I will be honest with you. I know Jim would disagree with me on this. The Steelers do have their fate in their own hands, and I do believe that they are capable of running the table. Now, whether they do or not,
I'm so glad they dusted off Dick LeBeau's playbook. Dick LeBeau's defense is alive and well in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I know, because it isn't doing a damn thing in Tennessee, is it?
Nah, you need the players wherever you go. Like my dad always said, you're as good as the horses.
Dick LeBeau. Love me some Dick LeBeau.
But you're as good as the horses you have. When you don't have them, how do you plug them in?
No, you can't. You got a point there.
And Butler has issues with that. And they had a couple interceptions. Harrison had another sack, plus some tackles. Plus, that holding call was the best in the end zone on James Harrison. Yeah. They hold him every play. Yeah. They could just pull that out.
And you know what? And just for that, the coach spotted him.
Yeah. And we're just about out of time. Smoking Jim, you want to say goodnight?
No.
I thought if you had anything to do. Chip, thanks for being on the show.
Hey, Rob Ryan, thanks for the win this weekend.
And everybody, thanks for watching, and stay Joey strong.